Hello, hello. Spiritual Events Directory. Welcome back to Wellness Conversations, the Woo Woo series. My name is Michele Scott. You can find me on Facebook at Michele Scott on Air, and absolutely thrilled to be back in this space, Spiritual Events Directory space. Now, hopefully, I've got everything plugged in. I'm all on my own this week, and I was actually not going to just give me whoever's on. I wasn't actually going to have a show this week. I was going to break for Christmas and New Year, but then I just got the download and the feeling and the instinct to oh, hello, Helen, to actually come in at our regular time to talk numerology, because I am a leading expert in numerology, and I haven't really done that too much over the past year, to be honest, because I've actually been building a fabulous community called our wellness community. Hello to Rachel and Trees. So I'm guessing that you can hear me, which is awesome. So, perhaps I'll start off with, there's so much information that, I'm always wary of leaving stuff out, and I always, of course, go away thinking, oh, I didn't say this and I didn't say that. But anyway, hello to Holly. So normally I have somebody with me. I'm usually managing, the people side of it while they are doing the oracle and the spiritual. But it's just me, and I'm managing all of it tonight. So we'll see how we go. But thank you so much for joining me in this space. Now, let's talk about how I found numerology, and I am going to show you how to work out your personal year number for 2020, and then I will absolutely do my best to provide as many readings and insights and guidance for you all as I can, ladies. So hello to Holly. Thank you so much for joining me. I can see that no one's told me that they can't hear me. So Natalie is here. Hello, and Donna. So the thing about numerology, and what I love about numerology is that unlike tarot, I've studied tarot. For me, it was all about who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here? These are the three questions that really plagued me, ladies, for the longest time. And it was those three questions that took me off in the pursuit. And along the way, it was called self-help, it was called personal development, it was called spiritual development. But those three questions is what got me started on the path in my early 20s. And spent 4 months in India and Nepal. It was absolutely, it was just a game changer, and it changed my life in ways that were so profound and positive and empowering. And I didn't know it then, but honestly, it became the foundation upon which the rest of my life was built. And I have to tell you, what I learned at that time and then kept building upon, has just gotten me through so much in life. It's helped me to deal with anxiety and depression. It has helped me overcome challenges and fears and obstacles. It has helped me get back up after every fall, heartache, heartbreak, disappointment, downturn, wrong turns, U-turns. It has absolutely held me in great stead. So I just can't talk long enough and loud enough about the fact that, you've got to take that journey. You've got to take that journey of self-development, of spiritual development. You've got to find for yourself what is your purpose, what is your passion. You've got to find what drives and motivates you. And because you know what, the one thing we can all count on in life is that life changes, and it doesn't always change for the better. That eventually it does, depending on your belief system. For me, everything happens for a reason. For me, it's my belief that no matter what, I grow better, not bitter in life. So my foundation, my pattern, my programming is ingrained, so that it doesn't matter what comes towards me, I will absolutely rise again. I will overcome. I will get back up, and I'll get back up even better than I ever was before. But, life is shit sometimes. Life stinks sometimes. Life doesn't always work out. Quite often. And when that happens, I feel and find that, you know, amongst my clients, and, you know, I do numerology readings, I have coaching and healing programs. I've been in this business a very long time. And even, you know, even when I wasn't teaching and speaking and reading on the spiritual and, you know, doing the woo-woo, I was a team leader. I was, you know, I was the eldest in the family. I've you know, been someone that I've been that person that others have lent on, that others have come to, that listens and advises and counsels and guides and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, in all of the very, very many people that have been clients, friends, you know, associates, colleagues, work colleagues, and even in my own life, I know that if I didn't have that, and people that I meet before they have this, knowing who they are, what they are, where they are, why they are, if they don't know that, they really tumble and fall, and it's very difficult to get back up, you know. But you've got to always be reaching out. You've got to always be finding out, you know, who and where can you go for help, and who can you ask for help, and, you know, be resourceful, and there's lots of tools out there. However, when you are on this path and you start learning for yourself, all of those, you know, the answers to those questions that took me off on that journey, when you can answer those questions for yourself and really pave that pavement in terms of you know, growing from the inside out, then you are really building for the long term. Then you are really building happiness from the inside out, and nothing and no one can hold you back. So for me, that's what all of that did for me. That's what all of this does for me. It absolutely is a strong foundation, so that no matter which way the wind blows, ladies, I'm always strong at the center of it all. So I've studied many modalities. It was all about who am I. I found astrology, I found tarot, Chinese astrology, you know, so many fantastic modalities. I've done, you know, Myers-Briggs, I love Carl Jung, I've done all sorts of personality tests, etc., to really get to know who I am. And all of them, I think of me and you as a big puzzle. And each, you know, each and all of these things I found along the way was a little piece of the puzzle that made up the whole, you know, added another piece to the puzzle of who I am. But numerology for me in my mid-30s, when I found it, oh my God, loved it. It actually answered all three questions in depth, and just keeps answering it. And for me, you know, numerology was the one. And what I love about it is that it's subjective, okay, where tarot is dependent upon the deck you learn, the person from, you know, the person who teaches you. Tarot is also very intuitive. It's all up to you. Numerology is much more objective. Of course, it's an intuitive tool as well, very insightful tool, but it is objective, so that no matter what numerologist you go to, you know, every number has a personality, every number has a characteristic, every number is a cycle, and we all agree on what that is. So I loved that. I really loved that, because I do have a birth date of 4, so therefore, you know, the practical and the organised is definitely part of my makeup. So I want to, let me see, oh, I'm getting better at this. Hello, Tony Lee, Melinda, Rachel Trees, Donna Trees, awesome Trees. Yes, I've been rock bottom and got myself back up a lot of times. Awesome. And Farah and Deepa, hello. So, you know, let me just give you a little insight into your profile, okay? If you had a reading from a numerologist, it's very in-depth. We can go as down and as deep as you want us to, you know, and this is why people come back for readings, you know, time and time again, because one reading isn't enough, although you do get a lot of insight. But you do, out of your name, we assign a number to every letter in your name. And out of your name, we get the personality. Out of your birth date, we get your life path. We get your cycles, basically. Out of your birth date, we get the cycles. We get the path that you are on, and your name gives us the personality traveling that path. But there's so many aspects, ladies. You've got, you know, your birth. You've got your birth date, gives some insight into your traits and qualities. You've got your expression number. That's going to give you some insight into career and ideal work and business. Your personality number shows how others see you. You've got your heart's desire number. And, you know, your heart's desire might be very different to the path that, you know, the life path number and what you've come to experience and grow better at and in. So a reading's about looking at each of those aspects individually, bringing it together for the client and being able to deliver it in a way that really shows you your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities, and the things that are going to move you forward and the things that can possibly hold you back. So it's just awesome. You've got your hidden passion number, you've got your subconscious number, you've got your spirit initiation number. That shows me what you've already done and become quite an expert in previous lifetimes. So yeah, so out of your name and your birth date, that's all I need when I do a reading. I break it down into all of those different parts, and there you go. You know, I can record readings and send it to you via email, ladies, and I can also do face-to-face. So what I'm in here to do tonight is actually to talk about cycles. So the beauty of numerology, you know, it's a never-ending circle. You know, what we go through in life changes us, and then we grow in a different direction, become more of who we are here to be. So you've got your cycles. You know, so if you have a look at your cycles, you know, during each and every cycle, you're going to grow different. At the same time, we look at your personality when we do your reading, and we see how the personality is actually going to handle that particular cycle. So again, there's quite a little bit that goes into it, and we can't cover all of that in the session I'm doing tonight, but enough to say that what I'd like to do tonight is talk a little bit about every year. There's the personal year cycle, and every year we work out your personal year cycle based on the universal year number. So in 2019, and the way that we get there is really easy, ladies, in numerology. The universal year, so each and every year a new cycle, each and every year at, you know, the tolling of the bell at midnight, a new energy universally applies. So in 2019, it was the number 3, and that's because we added 2 plus 0 plus 9 plus 1. And if you add that up, it comes to 12, and then 1 plus 2 is 3. So in numerology, what we do is we have 9 core numbers, and then we have 2. Every numerologist agrees on 2 master numbers, 11 and 22. And then, of course, some also have 33 is becoming quite widely accepted, and 44. Some do 55 as well. So getting lots of hellos, and ladies, grab a pen and paper. We're going to work out your personal year number for 2020, and then we can do some readings and just talk it through. It's so blooming hot, isn't it? I've only got a fan in here. I forgot about the heat. Right, so 2020 then. So in numerology, 9 core numbers, 2 master numbers. We'll keep it simple for our session tonight. So what we do, ladies, is we always add the numbers together until we are left with 1 digit between 1 and 9. In most aspects of your chart, 11 and 22 apply. So if you added it together and you got to 11 or 22, we would leave it at 11 and 22, depending on where it is in your profile. But for your personal year number, we're just going to break it all down to 1 number between 1 and 9. So let's work out the universal year for 2020, the universal year number for 2020 first. So we add together 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, which you know is going to be 2 plus 2 equals 4. So for 2020, it's universal year number 4. Now, ladies, what the number 4 is, and I actually do have my own program as well. You know, I've been studying numerology since 2003. And I decided at 2010, I was interested in a lot of things. I was doing a lot of things, but in 2010, I made a decision to become the leading expert in numerology. And what that meant was I truly began to dedicate myself, 200% to numerology. So what I love about numerology, because I have a hidden passion 5, which means that I love variety, I love change, I love challenge. I get bored easily, so I need to have a lot going on to keep me entertained, amused, to keep me growing. I love learning, I'm very curious. Love talking as well. So what I loved about numerology was I learnt it straight out of the textbook. I was so drawn to it, resonated. Off I flew into doing everybody's numbers all the time. Every time I heard a birth date, I was off, and just loved it. But then once I dedicated myself to it, it was amazing how much deeper I went into the craft. It was amazing how much more I've been able to see and sense, and the shit that's come through to me is just awesome. So the number 4 is part of my own program, is the journey of self-discipline. And if you think about it, ladies, again, what I love about numerology is that within the core numbers from 1 to 9, I've been able to pinpoint those numbers from 1 to 9 to a particular area of life. I've been able to pinpoint those core numbers 1 to 9 to a particular aspect of self. And if you think about it like this, if we could grow in all of these different ways, imagine how whole and balanced and awesome we would be. So at number 1, I'm jumping again. I always do this. At number 1, you develop self-belief. At number 2, it's all about the journey of self-love. Number 3 is self-expression. Number 4 is self-discipline. Number 5 is self-discovery. Number 6 is self-approval or appreciation. Number 7 is self-awareness. Number 8 is self-empowerment. And number 9 is self-sacrifice. So if you have a little think about that and think that if we were absolutely performing at the optimum in each of those 9 key ways, how well-rounded and balanced and centered and how powerful and empowered we would be. So the number 4 is the journey of self-discipline. Number 4 in numerology is the builder. And ladies, think about what a builder does, okay? Because if your personal year next year in 2020 is the number 4, then this is going to apply to you too. So when you are coming into a particular cycle in numerology, what it means is that in that cycle, you are going to have more of that energy. You're going to find whatever that number is and whatever it relates to, you're going to find that comes more easily. So in a phase of 4, self-discipline comes to you more easily. You have more determination, more steadfastness, okay, if you've got that 4 energy in your profile. So number 4 is a builder. Think about what a builder does, okay? A builder has to read the plan, has to coordinate all the tasks and people to bring that plan to life. They have to overcome obstacles and challenges. They have to keep sight of the big picture whilst taking it one step at a time. So ladies, number 4 is organised. Number 4 is determined and pays attention to the smaller details. Now, after 2019 being that number 3 is all about communication. Number 3 is all about creativity. Number 3 is also the inner child. So it's very playful, and if not kept in check and balance, can become quite unruly. So have a little think about 2019 as a collective. And perhaps even in your own life, think about communication. And it can go either way. Did it become more enhanced, or, we've had quite a bit of action and activity around the world where communication's been key. And that's what coming into that particular cycle means. So after that universal year 3, 2020 is going to be about foundations, building better foundations in the world. So the emphasis will be with the number 4 energy. The emphasis will be on the earth, will be in and on the physical, because number 4 is very physical, logical, sensible. So there's also a strong sense of duty with the number 4. So it'll be all about rules and regulations in 2020. And I've just written this down, you know, ladies, society needs a set of rules. We do need a set of rules that most of us agree upon to be governed by. However, at the same time, there's a lot of rules and regulations at the moment that have outgrown their use-by date, that no longer apply and no longer relevant. I reckon in 2020 we might see that there might be some kind of overhaul in terms of rules and regulations and boundaries of that sort. What else? And you know, that won't be before time. So, ladies, let's work out yours. Okay, it's always better. It's always more fun when it's personal, when it's about me. me. I hear you saying. And thank you so much for joining me. We've got Patricia. We've got Nay, Holly, Maria. Hello. Wendy, hello to all of you. I am very grateful that you are here. I am very passionate about this art and this craft, and the more people that I can share this with, the better. So the way that we work out your your personal year number, ladies, for 2020 is like this. Take your birth date and add it to your birth month, and then add it to the universal year number for 2020, which is the number 4. So for me, I'm born on the 4th of the 2nd, okay, 4th of February. So it's really easy for me. I add 4 plus 2 plus 4, and I get 10. And then I add 1 plus 0, and I get 1. We must always add the numbers together until we are left with 1 digit. So for me, it's good times, baby, because I've been in a number 9 year in 2019, which is all about endings. The cycle starts with 1, ends with 9. So for me, and again, I want you to be able to see the sense in that, like the rest of the earth, you know, everything's about cycles. And so therefore, I'm not sure why we grow up to think that life is about happily ever after, and that we get there and we stay there and nothing ever changes, because life is a series of cycles that we undergo so often over the course of our, you know, if we're lucky enough, over the course of our long lifetime. Things are always changing and shifting. We're always, you know, it's always about peaks and troughs and plateaus. It's always about, you know, beginnings and the middle and the end. So numerology is just beautiful in showing you the cycle of our lives. What begins at 1 ends at 9. Now, with the personal year cycles, it's the only cycles in numerology that do run consecutively. So for me, I was in a 9 in 2019. Coming into 2020, I'll be in a personal year 1. So I've gone through. So again, when you know the cycle you're in, you know the energy you're working with, the energy that's on your side. And then, ladies, what you can do when you know what it is and the different areas it can help you with, the different aspects of self, it can help you to grow, evolve and get better at and in, you work with the energy. So for me, this was a 9 year. My last 9 year, you know, I was addicted. My addiction was smoking. I absolutely, I used to joke that was the longest relationship of my life. I just couldn't shake that sucker. And, you know, finally, you know, when I came into that next 9 year after learning this, learning numerology, I worked with that energy to, you know, to separate from that beast of burden, to divorce that beast of burden. I didn't use patches. I didn't use any medication. I had mindset, you know, I had mindset tools behind me. I had, you know, I had lots of tools behind me. I had mindset and visualization, manifesting tools that I'd learned over the course of my holistic healing, and then I had the energy of the number 9. And I said some things, I visualized some things. I had a big vision where smoking just wasn't a part of that, wasn't a part of that vision. And I don't know. I don't know when it stopped, and I didn't go cold turkey. It was like, and I gave up. I wasn't a terrible ex-smoker. It was like I'd never smoked. It was just gone. So in this 9 year, I've done the same thing. I've used that energy. So I want you to be able to do that too. So you've got lots of questions going on here because, you know, I do like to chit-chat and bluff around. So, right, doesn't it start on your birthday? I know, Kate, I'll get to that one. I actually was taught that as well, Kate, that it was birthday to birthday. That's how I learned. That's what I was taught as well. However, after that, as I said to you, I committed to numerology. I've gotten down and deep, and what that meant was I didn't take what I had first learned, and, you know, I encourage all of you to do the same. You know, you learn something and then you add, and then it's about, you know, adding your own little touch of unique to what you've learned. But also there are many, 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 many teachers out there. Okay, you don't have to just stop at the one. So for me, after learning that it was birthday to birthday, I then found another numerologist and another one after that, and my mentor, whom I think is fabulous, and no one else was working it out that way. So so then it was up to me, basically. I really felt and found that, to be honest, both methods resonated with me, and I'll tell you where the birthday to birthday does make a little bit of sense. But I decided for me that I was more in tune and aligned to the fact that it applies. You're adding your date of birth to your month of birth to the universal year. So therefore, the way I saw it, and my mentor explained it, it makes sense that it's actually from year to year. But if your birthday is in the middle of the year or towards the end of the year, then the energy comes in incrementally, if that makes sense, okay? So for me, I'm born in February, and I'm not joking. The clock strikes midnight. We get to the first of each and every year, and the energy for me clicks in straight away. In fact, I can also sometimes feel it in December, but that's because, you know, you then have a personal month number as well. So I'm already feeling the energy of ones. I started feeling it in September. But when you are born in June, July, or towards the end of the year, then let's say you just had a birthday in October. I think someone did say that they were born there in October. If your birthday was in October, then you're just coming into the energy for 2019. You would have started to feel it around, you know, kind of work it out in quarters. By the time you get to your birthday, you're fully in the energy for that year. So now moving into 2020, you'll still be in that energy for 2019. And then probably by the time you get to the middle of 2020, you start to feel the energy of whatever your personal year number is for 2020. So I hope it's not too complicated. But yeah, so I go universal year, but we do have that disclaimer that that the energy does come in. You may not feel it automatically if you are in the middle of the year or towards the end of the year. The energy may take a little bit of time to come in. So Deb, okay, so let's so as your I was going to say my partner is the 7th to the 4th, so it's 7 plus 4 plus 4. So it's 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 4 is 15, 1 plus 5 is 6. So 2020 for him is a personal year 6. He's in April. You should start to feel that energy pretty quickly, you know, moving into 2020. My son, however, he's the 31st of August. So for him, it's going to be 3 plus 1 plus 8 plus 4. I tell you, I haven't done numerology for so long. I used to... so, you know, you're going to go 4 plus 8 is 12, plus 4 is 16, and then 6 plus 1 is 7. So he's going to be 2020 for him is a personal year 7. But his birthday is in August, so I reckon he'll still be in for the first quarter of 2020, possibly April as well. He is still in the 5 energy from 2019. Sorry, the 6 energy from 2019, which is all about family, which is all about relationships, which is all about the heart stuff. Okay, so we've got a half hour. I want to do some readings now. Let's see what we've got. I believe it's, I can feel the energy shifting this week. Lovely. Jess says her birthday's the 13th of Jan. So if we did Jess then, 13th of Jan, so then what we have is 1 plus 3 plus 1 plus 4. And so 4, 5 is 9. Oh, so you're coming into a 9. Is that what you've got, Jess? Personal year 9. Deb, 18th and the 12th. So for Deb, she'd still be just coming into, you would have just come into fully into the energy of 2019, right? So 1 plus 8 plus 1 plus 12 plus 2, 1 plus 8, 18th, plus 1 plus, and then plus 4. I used to be a lot quicker at this. It's called old timers, maybe. 8 plus 1 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 plus 4, 16. So you'll be a 7 in 2020. So you've just come into the 6. Deb, that's Deborah. So Deborah, you've just come into the 6 energy, okay, fully into the 6 energy, and you'll be in this energy, I reckon, to at least the middle of next year. I reckon, July, August, September, you'll start to feel the 7 coming in, and then, October, November, December, then you're fully in that 7 energy. But at the moment, I reckon you're fully in the 6 energy now, which is about family, okay, and relationships. So what you're going to find is, and then there's always the positive and the negative, but basically in any phase of 6, it's the focus is on family, it is on the heart stuff. There's opportunities to grow deeper in love. If you've done the work in previous years, on romance, on marriage, then it's really a blissful time. If the work hasn't been done, then, push is going to come to shove, and some decisions are going to be made in those matters of the heart. So number 6 is the journey of self-appreciation. It's about love, unconditional love. So in any phase of 6, you're going to be checking expectations, checking standards. Are they realistic? Am I asking too much of myself and or others? It's about judgments with the number 6. So it's about, am I judging or am I being judgmental? Am I teaching or telling? Yes, number 6 is really about love. It's really about that intimacy. So it's an opportunity to go deeper in love for self, and in going deeper in love for self, then it's amazing, ladies, how much deeper you go in love for others, and then all of that beautiful energy that just radiates out and extends high and wide and is so broad, it tracks back to you exactly, that mirror. So number 6 is definitely the focus is on love and relationships. The number 6 though is also natural counsellor, so you'll find others are leaning on you during this time for seeking your counsel. Number 6 can teach or tell, teach or preach. And ideally, you're teaching a man how to fish and feeding him for a lifetime, rather than telling him how, telling, preaching or doing. Okay, sometimes we can tend to just do for that person, and then we end up with a rod for our own backs. So anyway, there you go. I had a plan, and I'm completely not following that plan. As I do. So ladies, rather than me sit here and work it all out, because I can't do that in the course of the next half hour that we have left, you tell me what you think it is, and we can always edit and modify later. You tell me what you think your personal year number is, and I'll give you some insight. So for personal, hello Margie and Christy, yay. Can you read what 4 is, please? Absolutely. Let me start with the number 1, though. Personal year 1, okay? If you've got a personal year 1, hands up if you've got a personal year 1 in 2020. Because if you do, it's all about new beginnings, okay? I've got a few likes there, so that is awesome. So it's all about new beginnings in a personal year number 1. Now, if you are a naturally confident person, you have that self-belief and faith in self, then this is a very powerful, empowered year for you. You can make shit happen, okay? Number 1 is the journey of self-belief. Number 1 is the leader. So in any phase of 1, you're out in front, you're leading the way, you're paving the path for others. So in a phase of number 1, okay, oops, did I lose something there? In a phase of 1, Don't expect to be helped. Don't expect the knight in shining armor. Don't expect you know, a leg up. Okay, it's all about you, for you. It's about you standing up and being independent and really taking the lead. So whatever it's about walking to the beat of your own drum in the number one, and you have the power and potential to make that happen if you step up, stand up, and speak up for yourself. Okay. The number two, who's got a personal year of two. Okay, put your hand up if you've got a personal year in 2020 of number two. So number two is all about partnership. We're in a phase of one. It's up to you. It's all about you. You're developing a strong center within yourself from the inside out. Number two is all about romance and partnership and teamwork and collaboration. So in any phase of two, it's unlikely that the energy is going to support you being out in front. It's more likely that during this time you grow. You grow in sensitivity. You grow in sensitivity in terms of learning how to manage your sensitivities effectively, efficiently, and in doing that, becoming more sensitive to where others are at, and really being able to manage that energy so that you can see around corners and read between the lines, okay? It's not about overly sensitive. It's really about learning about how to manage the energy within and without so that you can see right through to the heart of the matter. So the number two is the diplomat. So in any phase of two, you will be you will find yourself in situations of having to work alongside and alongside and with others, because what you are learning to grow in is diplomacy and tact and being the power behind the scenes. So you can see how powerful that is when you know how to do it. Who's got, what about number three? Who's got a personal year number three in 2020? Give me a hands up if you've got, give me a like if you've got personal year number three. So in 2020, if that's number three is the energy that is within and all around you, ladies. The number three is the creator. The number three is about the social side of life. So you can expect that it'll be quite busy. It'll be, it'll be more than it's ever been before. Number three is the journey of self-expression. It's about communication. Now, you know, whether you're a drama queen or whether you are a performer, a public speaker, the number three is about self-expression. So don't be too hard on yourself if you're actually, expressing it in a negative way. It's still expression, is what I say. And you've got to get it out there before you can learn how to enhance and fine-tune it. So the number three, is playful, is inner child. During any phase of the number three, it's light and it's joy and it's spontaneous. The number three is not interested in rules and regulations. It wants to have fun. It wants to create. So next year, if you've got a personal year three, you can absolutely create. Either recreate yourself, recreate your life. You can create whatever you had it in your mind to do. I forgot this with the number one. Number three, very creative thinkers. And certainly if you've got a wellness business or if you're a speaker, then in any phase of three, the energy supports you and you'll probably find that gigs will come towards you. Opportunities to speak, opportunities to create, opportunities to make new friends with the number three will be attracted to you. What about the number four? We talked a little bit about the number four. So in 2020, personal year four, great number to have so that you build new foundations. You can build a new foundation in health and well-being. You can build a new foundation in, number four is a masculine energy. It's very logical and rational. It's all about common sense. Now, ladies, again, as I said before, the 9 really help us to grow in all sorts of efficient, effective, empowered, inspired, in a holistic way. The number four, if you don't have this in your profile, if you don't have fours anywhere in your profile, it's very hard to build. Everything worth having builds one step at a time. That's the number four. That's the thing four is great, is good at. The number 4 is, the details. Number 4 is organized. Number 4 is disciplined. Number 4 is determined. Number 4 just won't give up. Number 4 is completion. Okay, so if you find that, so this is a great year, 2020, if you've got a personal year 4, it's a great year for you to think about where you'd like to be different, like to be better, like to be more grounded, like to be more organized. Because I tell you, if you're building a business, building a career, building a relationship, if you don't have a strong foundation in any one of those things, money, for example, whether it's inner, outer, the energy of 4 really supports you becoming much more mindful, much more effective in how you manage your mindset, manage your emotions. It really brings into your whole being a connection to heaven and earth that just makes you centered. So number 4 is also about nature. So in any phase of 4, you might think about your home. You might think about, you might be more drawn to nature, more drawn to the earth, getting out and in it and on it, and really connecting in that physical. It's a very physical energy, and it's all about laying a new foundation. Who's got the number 5? Very exciting times. Now, of course, ladies, all of this can there can be challenges. With the number 4, it's important to not become too fixed and rigid. Have a plan, put the plan in place, remain open to change. Number 3, is very creative, but can become a little bit undisciplined, so be mindful of that. Number 2 is absolutely intuitive and sensitive, but can become overly sensitive and maybe struggle with anxiety. Number one is determined. Number 1 is the leader, but, make sure you lead with courtesy and consideration for others. So number 5 is awesome. Number 5 is all about change, all about travel, all about self-discovery, all about new paths, okay, pioneering new paths, and in doing so, absolutely growing. When I left at 23 to go traveling, backpacking around Europe, and I worked and traveled. I worked in London. I traveled saw a bit of Europe, spent 4 months in India and Nepal. Man, I came back a changed person, and I would never have grown in all the ways that I did if I'd stayed. So number 5 is uninhibited. Number 5 is spontaneous. If you've got a birthday 5, you would relate to all of these characteristics that I'm ringing out. So bear that in mind as I'm talking all of this through too, ladies. So number 5 is change and challenge. Number 5 is the entrepreneur. Number 5 is absolutely flies by the seat of its pants. So in any cycle of 5, there will be change. In any cycle of 5, there is opportunity to broaden your horizons. With number 5, you've got to be mindful. Number 5 can be extravagant. Number 5, can be very much about the senses. So, wants to spend, wants to eat, wants to drink. So you have to absolutely bring, make sure you bring a little bit of discipline to the number 5. And so because 5 supports change, ladies, in 2020, if you've got a personal year 5, think about what you want to change, because it will be very easy to do so. We've done the number 6, which I might have done, a little bit more of there. Just took my fancy for some reason. The number 7. Now, the number 7 is the journey of self-awareness. Number 7 is all about trust, and number 7 is number 7 is number 7 is the seeker. Number 7 is the spiritualist. Number 7 can also be the scientist. So, if you've got a birthday 7, if you've got a lot of 7s in your profile, you're going to be very analytical. You may even be overly analytical. Who's got number 7 in their 2020 personal year number next year? Give me a like if you have. You really must be mindful. Number 7 needs to bring together the head and the heart and intuition, and when it does so, it's really all powerful. To know when it's time to use the mind, to know when it's time to feel, to know when it's time to let it go and let spirit take over. Let divine guidance guide you. That can be if you don't have trust, if you don't trust in you, believe in you, have faith in you, if you don't trust in your spiritual support team, if you haven't even met them yet, if you don't trust in angels, you know, then it makes it really difficult to know when to move forward, when to stop, when to stand firm, when to let go, when to flex and flow with the changing landscape of life. But that's the number 7. Okay, if you can really get good at that, great year. Number 7 is introspective, it's time out, it's soul search. So number 7, in any phase of 7, you may find that things don't work for you the way they used to do. Perhaps you had a certain way of getting what you want. Perhaps you had a certain way of feeling safe, feeling loved in the world. Well, in any phase of 7, all of those will be questioned. Okay, all of those will be up for change and challenge. And the beauty is that you may feel confused, you may feel a little bit off center, a little bit unguarded, but honestly, at the end of that, you really come into some growth that you couldn't have got to if you hadn't broken through in the way that you will do. Number 7 is very spiritual, so it's a great time to absolutely do what you're doing here, ladies. Really, you know, get more involved with communities that are spiritual, surround yourself with like-minded souls, absolutely get back on your learning train and track. All things spiritual, all things wellness, all things personal development and self-help, and you will that'll come easily to you when you're in that phase. Number 7 is also the student, great time to study. Number 8, very powerful for money. Number 8 is great for business, career. Okay, if you want to grow your career, grow your business, and you're coming into a number 8, spot on. So number 8 is the manager. Number 8 is the journey of self-empowerment. Number 8 is learning. You don't want to be overpowering, but you don't want to be disempowered. Number 8 is learning how to empower from the inside out, so that you don't need to boss everybody around. You step into your leadership in a way that others naturally are attracted to you and follow suit. Okay, number 8 is think about a manager. Think about a great manager and what they manage and how they bring it all together seamlessly and make it look so easy to do. And that's the personality that you will find comes quite naturally into your toolkit in 2020. You'll just be able to draw upon those skills as if you'd had them all along. Every cycle brings new opportunities and new challenges to grow better somehow, in some way, ladies. And you come out of that phase empowered, evolved, more, okay? I like to say different, better versions of myself, okay? Leaving behind the old. It's like the butterfly. What the butterfly calls, what the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the master calls the butterfly. So it's just constantly transforming. And then the number 9. So hopefully this is all. I don't have time because I'm on my own. I can't. Hey, Maggie says, big ear. Tracy, great. I'm studying in January. Awesome. And, that's awesome. I'm so glad. Oh, Maggie's an 80. Yippee. I would love any guidance. I'm an 11. Ooh, 11 what, Beverly? Do you mean an 11 year? I'll answer that in a minute. But the number 9, as I said before, great year for endings. Number 9 is a great year for what has passed its use-by date to exit your life. And you really must think about it like this, okay? I talked about giving up smoking in my last 9 here. And I tell you, ladies, all the way in which my life grew better, bigger, broader, would not have happened if I held on to that beast of burden. Okay, I met my fiance. Woohoo! Oh, how does that go? I met my fiance. He wouldn't have dated me. He wouldn't have been interested if I'd still been smoking. Not that I don't really give a shit about that. But I'm just trying to. It doesn't matter whether you smoke or not. I'm just saying that for me, and I want you to think about it like this: that whenever you leave something behind, that it's time to leave behind. Life doesn't get smaller; it grows bigger. It grows bigger when we refuse to let go of these things that we know it's time to let go of, because everything in you tells you, is telling you, is showing you, okay? In mind, in heart, in instinct, in your being. If you know that it's time to give that up, let me assure you, if you give that up, if you do the work to give that up, and 9, it's easy to give it up. Your life grows bigger. I attracted my fiance. I started to run retreats and events that I wouldn't have been able to. I wouldn't have had opportunity. I wouldn't have attracted the people that helped me to do so. They wouldn't have come into my being. There were just all sorts of the friends, the opportunities. It just all grew bigger. So if you're in a 9, ladies, in 2020, and you've had that niggly feeling in your head, your heart, your being, that, oh, I might have to. Perhaps it's a behaviour, perhaps it's a way of thinking, perhaps it's a pattern, a program, a belief system. Okay, it could be the way that you speak. It could be anything. It could be what we complain about. I mean, I've got lots of things. Lots of things I'm giving up, and lots of things that we still have left to do. We're all a work in progress, and that's just the way it is, and that's okay. But if you're a 9 in 2020, ladies, you have an opportunity to really, it's also humanitarian. Number 9 is the humanitarian. Number 9 is the journey of self-sacrifice and service. So if in 2020 your focus is on what I can do, then honestly, what will come to you will be amazing. Okay, will be amazing. But if your focus is on, me first, what's in it for me, what about me, it's probably going to be a difficult time. So if you're in a wellness business, a spiritual business, a business that serves, you're going to absolutely experience some success next year in 2020. For sure. Just be mindful of your boundaries with the number 9, though. Be mindful of your boundaries. Be mindful of people pleasing, okay? Because that will hold you back. Now, let me have a little look-see here to see. Okay, so as someone asked about the 11, that was Beverly. Beverly, I'm going into a 9-year. Awesome. Beverly French. Who said, Beverly, it was about the number 11. Now, in terms of personal year numbers, ladies, if you added your numbers together and you came and it was an 11, add it again, 1 + 1 = 2. So it'll be personal year 2 applies, okay? But at the same time, I always like to also take into account the 11 and the 22. So if it's an 11-2 for you in 2020, 11 is a master number. 11 is very intuitive. We all have intuition, although we all resonate to a different vibration, okay? And I like to say that the number 11 is at the highest vibration, has a direct link to the divine, the oracle, the all-powerful. So in any phase of 11, you are more sensitive, more intuitive, you have more divine downloads, more illuminations, inspirations, more shit coming through to you, okay? So that's very powerful. Be mindful of the messages. Work with what comes through to you, what you sense, what you see, what you feel, what you hear. Dreams, your dreams may be more than usual. So there'll be guidance. There'll be absolutely a lot of tools and tips and ways in which you can traverse that path with more ease, joy and glory when you're in a phase of 11. But you are more sensitive than usual, so manage your sensitivity positively rather than looking for ways to avoid, to escape, none of those ways will work. Instead, self-love, focus on self-love from the inside out, positive mindset, positive mind tools, really working constructively with your thoughts and your feelings, and then taking time out for you, defining healthy boundaries, looking out for you, looking after you, doing whatever you need to do, getting out in nature, yoga, meditation, etc., to keep you well. Okay, no, there aren't any card readings tonight. I mean, I could pull a couple of cards. I might pull a couple of cards, numerology cards, using Michelle Buchanan's deck, but that wasn't actually. Oh, thank you. I work in disability, Yvonne said. That's awesome. Thank you, ladies. Now, let me talk about Future Me, presented by our wellness community, ladies. We have an online event. It starts in January, the 1st of the 1st, 2020. I'm going to pop a link on this post. We'd love you to come in. It's complimentary. It's a complimentary, we're running complimentary programs throughout January. Ladies, and all of the programs, leading experts on board, and all of the programs we are running are about building the big vision. So for me and the program that I'm offering, which is called The Magic of Believing, I'll absolutely be looking at your numerology and giving you some insights, taking your personal year number and putting that together with some other stuff to really show you how to set a big vision, how to break it down, and how to take it one step at a time to bring that vision to life. So I have done lots of, I have manifested lots and lots and lots. Ladies, I have won a car. I've had terrific advancements in traditional work, in spiritual work, in wellness work. You know, our wellness community, you know, in the 18 months we've been going there, we've gone from, we've got our own radio show. We're got a lot of fantastic initiatives coming in 2020 that are going to, you know, we run events in real life as well. Our star is really shining very, very brightly. And how we get there, ladies, is through the power of all the manifesting and visualization and big vision tools, techniques that we are showing you in our Future Me 2020 Big Vision group. So I'm going to pop the link. It's free to sign up. It's free to come into the group. It's free to watch all of the programs that we are bringing to you. We've got healers in there. We've got teachers in there. We've got, you know, readers in our private group. I want you all in there to absolutely get that head start. We're running programs throughout the whole month of January. So if you want things to be different for you in 2020, ladies, I want you to come into our private little Idaho and you know, make the most of all of these resources, all of these leading experts in their field, so that you can really bring this big picture together and bring it to life. I always say that you know, you need to put the plan in place, and then you need to be open to change. But if you didn't have the plan, you'd go nowhere. If nothing changes, ladies, nothing changes. But if you do have a plan in place, it's not to say that it'll all work out that way, but I tell you this for sure, the ways in which I have manifested. And it all started with a big vision, and it all started with all the tools that I'll be showing you and all the tools that everybody else will be showing you in our private group. I have manifested stuff I didn't even know I needed, wanted, I didn't even know was in the plan for me. So it's all about returning to soul, okay? Your numerology profile absolutely shows you at a soul level. Ladies, at a soul level, who you have come to be, what you've come to do, and why you are doing it. It gives you insight into past lives. It gives you insight into karma. And you know what? Sarah has invited me to come on board as the numerologist and do some predictions that online and to you know, have a show with just the numerology. So I'm so happy and so thrilled and so excited to introduce you to all these different parts of your numerology profile, because I'm telling you, there is so much. So I actually managed to talk for an hour all on my own. Can you believe? Right, so Natalie, well, I might let's just do a couple of cards and then I'm out of here, and you can put your, ladies, you can put your personal year numbers there. If I'm drawn to you, I might give you another little, a few more tidbits with regards to the energy of that number. Let's do one for Natalie. Let's see what number comes out for you, Natalie Yates. What have I got? Oh, look, 96. Oh, forgiveness. Oh, yippee. Okay, so you know what? I'd go number 9. So I'd be looking at, Natalie, I'd be looking at boundaries there. I'd be looking at boundaries. Number 9 can also be a people pleaser. And you know what? When you're trying to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. And what ends up happening within you, it can build resentment. and just feeling, you know, it's not fair. It's not fair. So, well, the number 9 is you know, do what you do and do it for the right reasons. And especially if I look at number 9, partnered there with the number 6, I'd say this applies in family. So in family, you know, it's quite normal and natural for the woman or for mothers. It's quite natural for mothers and parents. I don't mean to be, you know, sexist or anything, but it is sort of normal. It's more common, I should say, for the mum to be the one, the glue that binds it all together and takes on more than their fair share or more than they need to take on. So the 9 with the 6 tells me that within family, it's certainly about, there is a large part of selflessness in family at the same time. Be mindful of number 9 is save yourself first before you can be fit and fabulous enough to save others. Okay, that's how I interpret that card. It's also about forgiveness. So what is it within you that you need to forgive yourself for? You know, are you being too hard on yourself at the moment? The 6 says to me, check your expectations. Check that you're not asking too much either of yourself or somebody else. Usually we're asking too much of ourselves, and that can then kind of transpose, and we end up sort of being more demanding of others as well. And then 9 plus 6 is 15, and then 1 plus 5 is 6. So I'm going to take it back to you and say, you know, what do you want out of the situation? What do you want out of that situation? Because if you go back and check that first, it might make it easier for you to put in place better boundaries, and it might help you to make better choices around relationships. Yippee! Okay, so just one more then. I'm out of time, but I do love it. I really love it. Who wants a card? That's it. Me first, exactly. You know, when you get on a plane, they teach you how to save yourself. They tell you to pull the mask down, put it on your face, and then turn to others. If you're not full, if you're not full, then it's hard to fulfill. It's hard to fill others. They end up not being grateful anyway, and you're depleted. But I tell you, the darndest thing happens when you start to look out for yourself. What happens is they end up being looked after, and everyone ends up feeling full. Hello, Regina. Please, I would like a card, said Natasha. I'll do this one and then I'm out of here. Thank you for listening, ladies. I want you all in Future Me 2020 so that we can help you bring your wildest dreams to life. It's possible. We've done it. We do it. We want to help you do it too. Yippee. And if you want to book a reading, I'd love that to happen as well. What's this card? 93. Oh, happy ending. So what, Nia? Happy ending. Oh, that's awesome. That suggests to me, Natasha, the 9 in numerology in terms of cycles is always about endings. So something might be coming to an end. With the number 3, oh, perhaps it's some kind of friendship, perhaps you know, perhaps some kind of social connections, perhaps some friendship comes to an end, and it's a happy ending and opens you up into so much more, something else, okay? The number 3 is the creators. So, and then also 9 plus 3, 9, 10, 12, and then 1 plus 2 equals 3. So the 3 again. The number 3 is the creators. So in any time the number 3 shows up, honestly, you have the ability, if you manage the self-doubt, Natasha, if you manage the self-doubt, if you manage the inner critic so that it's helping you and not holding you back, so that it's uplifting and inspiring you rather than beating you up and putting you down. If you manage that inner critic so that it empowers you, you will dig deeper into that well of creativity, and you will absolutely be able to pull something out that really changes your life for the better, okay? Number 3 is really about lighten up. It's about ease and grace and glory, and it's about joy. It's about joy. In any phase of 3, it's fun, it's funny. You may have a good sense of humour with that number 3 showing up. Certainly it suggests to me that something needs to come to an end. Oh, wow. Natasha said yes. It did. Moved away from the in-laws for good. I love that. That's great validation, Natasha. Great validation. And perhaps the criticism that you were receiving there became the critical voices in your head. When we are entertaining the inner critic in that negative, nasty way, it really holds us back from being the awesome beings that we are each and all here to be. We each and all have this inside us, and what stops us is our own fear, okay, our own fear and that inner critic. So I am absolutely chuffed. It's ended. You are absolutely coming into a lot more joy in your life, and you know, if you're a speaker, if you're a performer, and if not, I'd say get out there. I'd say create something. It could be you, it could be your life, it could be your home. But number 3 is definitely a lot of creative energy around you. So thanks for listening, ladies. Mwah. Sorry, Sarah, I've gone a little bit over there, but thank you so much, Spiritual Events Directory, and thanks so much to Sarah. Happy New Year, ladies, in a couple of days, and we'll see you next week. Mwah.